So I'm clearing out of Merrimack County Superior Court, which is in Concord, New Hampshire, where my office is located. Here I'm defending a felony charge for indecent exposure. Unique charge these days to come up. And unfortunately, or fortunately, the negotiations are at impasse, which required us today to pick dates and deadlines to set this case up down the road, including ultimately a date for a jury trial, which the court set off in October. I'm talking to you in early March, and so that gives you some sense of the pace of justice in serious criminal cases. Who knows, though? It's always possible for negotiations to resume at every step in the process down the road up to the point of a potential jury trial, but I think this one may go, and it reminds me of an old story of another indecent exposure trial that I did, a jury trial I did many, many moons ago now in Brentwood, New Hampshire. My client was actually the town manager in a small town, so he was a somebody in a small place. He had a long day. All this is part of public record, by the way. It was part of a jury trial in the open. He had a long day at work. He'd strained a calf muscle. He came home. He'd stripped down just to his tighty whities. He had his leg up on a stool, watching TV with a glass of water after work, kind of zoning in and out, resting his leg, when all of a sudden there was a knock at the door, which was abrupt and frightening because he lived in a pretty small area. He jumped up, startled by the knock, knocked the water over, got his underwear wet, peeled them off, and despite the fact he was nude thereafter, still was alleged to have opened the door where he saw a satellite TV salesman who wanted to try to sell him satellite TV. He invited the guy in, despite the fact my client was alleged to be naked. They had a conversation about the TV services the salesman wished to sell to my client. The guy even left my client a pamphlet with his handwritten phone number on it, should my client wish to follow up in order to consider the service. Off the salesman went, only apparently to become alarmed, affronted, and offended thereafter. He reported the whole encounter to police, and police came and charged my client ultimately for indecent exposure, a trial that ended up before a jury in Rockingham County Superior Court, and when we were done, he was found not guilty. Today's war story, which is on my mind because I'm again finding myself defending an allegation of indecent exposure. It's funny because these charges that I'm defending are ones where the allegation is said to have occurred in one's home. And I think historically, in an old-fashioned way, we think of indecent exposure as, the funny person in the court in the outdoor in a park or something in a public place, wearing a trench coat, flashing everyone. And these cases are alleged and set up under modern statutes a little different than that. So if you're facing a serious felony charge, which may also require the possibility of a defense all the way through a jury trial, and you wish for a qualified criminal defense lawyer to consider your case, give us a call. My name is Jim Rosenberg. I'm a lawyer and a partner at the firm of Shaheen & Gordon. We've got offices throughout the state of New Hampshire and in Maine.